It's getting busy here, Stephen, as members of parliament and their guests make their way into the precinct. Of course, we'll be taking a lot of commentary from some of the political parties. And now joining me is Floyd Shivambu, the Deputy President of the EEF, as well as the Chief Whip. Mr. Chief Whip, obviously today you guys are coming in your normal regalia, business as usual?
Yeah, of course, the EFF is consistent. This is the last State of Nation address of the 5th Democratic Parliament. And we are coming here as the EFF. It has been a very successful 5 years in terms of the parliamentary engagements of the EFF. We have changed the face of this parliament as the EFF. Like every State of Nation address, many people are always anticipating what the EFF is going to do, what it's going to say, and everything else there. So the whole country is on attention, listening and waiting to what the EFF is going to say and how we're going to deal with the issues of accountability and everything else. So that is one of the things. But it has been a very good 5 years for the economic freedom fighters because we have had a necessary impact. Other than many other things that we have achieved, the greatest things is that we have been able to put legislation, we have been able to hold the executive accountable. But also we have managed to remove a president. We removed Jacob Zuma as the EFF. We made him to resign. If he had not resigned, he was going to be removed because of the motion which the EFF had put in. So there are a lot of things which we have achieved in the 5th Democratic Parliament. And we have set a tune in terms of what should be the agenda of the 6th Parliament. We have started a process that is going to amend Section 25 of the Constitution. So there are many victories which you can speak about as the EFF because we have been a very impactful representative of the people. We have been the voice of the voiceless, we have been the voice of black people.
And let's talk about today. What is the strategy? Are you guys still going to continue with the threat of turning today's SONA into a question and answer session for the president?
Look, we have written a letter to the President of the Republic and he has not responded. He has not responded to our letter. So the EFF caucus is going to have a meeting at 6:30 today. And we'll decide what becomes the way forward. We'll decide how we hold him accountable, whether we do it today or tomorrow or on Monday or Tuesday next week. But we're going to have a caucus at 6:30. And the people of South Africa would know when the State of Nation address is happening, whether we have taken a decision to hold him accountable or not. But the caucus is sitting at 6:30 today.
Why so late?
It's the time where all of us are available.
Talking about the tactics of the EFF, there's quarters who argue that the tactics of disrupting proceedings of the House will probably get tired, and some of the sympathizers of the EFF and some of the members may actually move away from those support. Do you agree with those sentiments?
Look, we have never disrupted Parliament as the EFF. We don't do that. The people who disrupt Parliament here are those thugs who wear white shirts here, who came from SABC, and they entered the National Assembly to interfere when members of Parliament are engaging. So the people who disrupt Parliament is the security of Parliament. The EFF has never disrupted Parliament. We have just been robust in terms of how we engage with all the processes that happen here in the National Assembly, in the National Council of Provinces. And that is what have been. And one thing that we never worried about is declining support, because as a matter of scientific fact, the EFF is the only growing organization in South Africa. We're the only organization that is growing. The rest are declining. All the polls, even the reactionary right-wing polls, all of them point to a growing organization. The rest of them are declining. We're the only organization that is here to stay. We are the organization that is going to take over government because we represent the people of South Africa.
Lastly, before I let you go, what you make of the news that came out earlier this morning on the appointment on the panel that will be interviewing the SARS commissioner? Are you happy with the composition?
We're not happy at all. We don't trust Trevor Manuel because Trevor Manuel is a representative of white monopoly capital. He's part of the problem in South Africa. Trevor Manuel is part of the problem in South Africa. He represents a right-wing and neoliberal agenda. and you would know that the manner in which this process is going to happen will altogether undermine the integrity of the revenue collector. The president must learn to take decisions. The president has got a constitutional and legislative obligation to appoint a SARS commissioner. Why is he outsourcing that to Trevor Manuel, who is part of the problem? He is part of the problems that have been happening in SARS. There was an illegal intelligence unit that was established by SARS when he was a Minister of Finance, which harassed a lot of people, which terrorized a lot of people, which was engaged in illegal activities. So Trevor Manuel is not a suitable person to could preside over this process. I think we must state clearly that we reject his appointment as a person who's going to facilitate the choosing of a SARS commissioner. He's not trustworthy. He must not be trusted by anyone. So whatever outcome is going to be produced by that process, he must know that it should concern South Africa. He must remember that the biggest challenge that SARS is facing now is its ability to collect taxes maximally, particularly from multinational corporations. So, I mean, what do you expect from Trevor Manuel? Who do you think he's going to choose? Who do you think is going to give strategic advantage? Because he represents white monopoly capital. He works for the Rothschilds. That is who he is. So we cannot trust Trevor Manuel with this process. The president must stop being a coward and take decisions in terms of the responsibilities that he has.
All right, Mr. Floyd Shivambu giving us his views on a variety of issues. And of course, we will continue to be bringing you diverse views from the different political parties. But for now, we'll cross back to the studio.